Harb said I called it. Harb said I called it. Harb said I called it. 4th and 19, 25 seconds left. The win, it doesn't look like it's looking good for the Ravens. 4th and 19, Lamar delivers a strike to Sammy Watkins downfield. Everyone hustles to the line, clocks the ball. Next thing you know, the greatest kicker of all time, Justin Tucker's on the field. Absolutely exceeded all expectations with that 66 yarder to set NFL history. It's crazy. Welcome back to week 4 PBHS, guys. I'm Rashad. We got fellow classmates On God, AJ, and then we got our teachers, Mr. Ellis and Mr. Woodward. It's been a wild week so far. Week 3, which is full of surprises, full of records, and just full of, notable things that, we'll talk about later. But diving into the first game of the week, we have Washington versus the Atlanta Falcons. Washington is favored by 1.5, and the line is 47.5. Personally, I think after coming off a crushing loss to the Buffalo Bills, I think Washington has something to prove this game. They got to make a statement win here. Going against, Kevin Ridley, Matt Ryan, Kyle Pitts, that entire Atlanta defense, I think they should be able to hold their own against this game. But I got Washington winning 20-17.
These first 3 games, our defenses has been getting punched in the mouth with no response, and it's kind of disappointing after the steam we saw from Chase Young and Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, Darren Payne, all those big names. We thought they would come out and show what they were, but it looks like this defensive unit that was so vaunted is going through a sophomore slump, and it's hitting us really hard. And all our defenders keep saying we'll get through it, but it doesn't seem like we will. I think Jack Del Rio also needs to dial up the pressure. He's playing scared. I know where they're not performing, but he's just letting people pass around on us, and it's not been good. I don't think next week will fly if we let that happen. But I think we step it up and win this game 27-15. Oh, 17, sorry.
Looking at this game, Matt Ryan is struggling. Okay. He's been sacked 7 times through the first 3 weeks. And as I've stated every week, every time that Washington has played, their D line, all first round picks. They are going to be coming after Matt Ryan. And knowing Matt Ryan, he's not going to be able to just handle the pressure that Washington is going to bring. So my pick for this one, I have Washington winning it 24-16.
Yeah, I'm with you guys on this one. When you think about who Washington has played, they've played the Chargers, the Giants, and Buffalo. I mean, 2 of those teams are in the heat of it right now. 2 of those teams people are looking at and expecting. One's a surprise, a bit of a surprise. Justin Herbert had a great last year. They've got a strong team. They're definitely going to be looking to battle it out in the West, which right now is the best division in football, the AFC West. And so what's going to have to happen this week is they're going to do what they did against the Giants. They're going to beat a football team that they should beat. They're not going to win games against teams that they're not expected to beat. That's just not who they are right now, whether they've got 25 first-round picks on that roster. They've got to figure out a way to outcoach the good football team. So this week, I don't see any problem for Washington. I see them taking this one 26-20. And when they start playing more good football teams, that's when the defensive coach has to step up and get those guys to play their best. So this week they're in good shape. Next week we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think Atlanta is hoping to get into the QB derby, which is fortunate for Washington because they've stunk through these first 3 games. Let's be real. I mean, what a massive disappointment. I mean, look at week 2. You shouldn't even won that game. I mean, we're fortunate to win that one. I mean, they played well enough to win it. The Giants probably played over their heads in that game, but even so, defensively, especially at linebacker, I'm just seeing that Washington having holes right now. And again, it's also tough to look at the format of defense they play because my team plays the same defense, and I feel the pain. Like when you play 5-6 yards off the ball, it's just really hard in this NFL today to survive. And I don't know how either team has done it besides having great players. And unfortunately, Washington doesn't have enough on that side. But against Atlanta, I mean, I just feel like their heads are not in this game. They're waiting for next year. I think Washington does enough to win this game. I like Washington 23 and Atlanta 17.
All right, moving on. I think this is the most anticipated game of the week and probably the year, but we got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at New England. Personally, this is going to be one of the most exciting games, I think, by far this year. Tom Brady returning to Foxborough, returning New England, playing against his former coach and the team he's played for 20 plus years. It's going to be a really good game. I think you know, Tampa Bay's gonna get away with this one, but Tampa Bay's favored by 7 and the line is 49. But I still think, Tom Brady's going to find a way to win. He's always going to find a way to win. He's been playing against that defense for, God knows how long, 20 years. He'll find a way to beat the team. I got the Bucks winning easily, 28-15 or 14. Sorry, 14.
Honestly, looking at the Patriots, they're nothing special. No offense, Mr. Woodward. They haven't played any good offenses, and the defenses they've played have been mediocre. And we saw them lose to the Saints and the Dolphins, and the Bucks are maybe 3 to 4 times better than both those teams. And I believe Mac Jones is just going to struggle immensely against this defense, and Tom Brady's going to have a field day. He's just going to laugh in Belichick's face. I have this game going 35-15.
Looking at this game, all I got to say is if Bill Belichick were to just ever see this, just on a mishap, just good luck, Bill. Like, seriously, like, good luck. Like, your defense is gonna have a one hell of a test. All right. The Buccaneers are top 10 in yards. They average 34 points a game in scoring and 6 yards per play. They have weapons on offense. I mean, yes, a couple years back, the Patriots defense was just superb, but I just definitely feel that Mac Jones is going to struggle. But my score for this, I got the Buccaneers winning it 24-20.
No offense taken there for the picks against the Pats. Totally understand. They have not really shown anything this year to give us faith at this point because they haven't rounded into form. I still think that they're going to need some time to round into form. And I don't know if they're going to have enough season to do it. But for this week, I'm going to hit you with 7 numbers. And you'll know where I'm going immediately. 2001, 2003, 2004, 2014, 2016, 2018, and in the eyes of many a New Englander, 2021. Yeah, Pats fans, you kidding me? They were tuning in left and right. The Bucks are the Patriots South. People love the Bucks up in New England. I'm telling you, they're all watching. I talked to my dad, and he's like, what time are the Bucks playing later? Well, this week you won't have to worry because they're playing at 1 against the Pats. Now, Pats fans may boo Tommy Brady by the end of this one, but they got nothing but love for him and what he helped create in New England. But I'm telling you, by the end of this one, we may be surprised at what we see. I'm taking the Pats in a shocker. 27-20.
Woo! I love it, Mr. Wood. And I would love to join you in that club. But man, I think back to like 2013. You remember Peyton Manning came back to Lucas Oil Stadium with Denver. I mean, absolutely lit the Colts on fire. Like just his flame. Hey, they didn't want me, And now I'm thinking about Brady, who's a lot better than Peyton Manning. And so, God, does it hurt to say that? But I don't like either of them, But here he goes, man. This is going to be blowout city. Now, I do think that the Bucs defense is overrated. I think last year they lucked out in the playoffs. They had a lead in every game offensively. Tom took them down, scored early. The defense was allowed to tee off on teams with their blitz. But when they have to sit out there and straight up cover like they did against the Rams, they're not that great. Hence why you see them getting 99-year-old Richard Sherman off the scrap heap, okay? Much respect to him when he was in his prime. But it's like a Le'Veon kind of thing. Like it's desperation, right? This is blowout city, man. I got New England going down 32-10.
Bold take, Mr. Ellis. Bold take. All right, for the next game of the week, we got the Seahawks versus the 49ers. The 49ers are favored by 2.5, and the line is 52. This is going to be a good game. I think that it's going to be a very high-scoring game because, I don't know, from the way that Seattle's defense has been playing, I don't think they've been playing that good for the past couple of weeks. 49ers, they just went against the Green Bay offense, but I do think that their offense can keep up. So I think this is going to be like a really high scoring game, but I'm going to take the 49ers in this game 35-21.
Over these past few weeks, we can look at both these teams' defenses and agree they can't play defense for their lives. Okay, like the Seahawks allowed the Titans to put 33 points up on them, and they let the Vikings score 30 on them. And their offense isn't playing how we thought they would. Russell Wilson was not able to keep them in the game against the Vikings. Kirk Cousins surprised me there, but that's another story. But for the 49ers, we saw they can compete. They kept up with the Packers. They scored well. I think this is going to be high scoring, as Rashad said. But I have the 49ers taking this 35-28.
Can I just say, trade Trey Flowers, get a new defensive coordinator. I mean, come on. Like, are you kidding me? Like, just the thing with Seattle is throughout the halftime of their week 2 game against Tennessee, Seattle led 24-9. And it was on a course for a 2-0 start. Then suddenly things just changed. And then through the second half against the Titans, outscored them 24-6 and won 33-30. I'm not going to say much here. I have the 49ers winning it 24-21. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah, this is a tough one this week. Russell Wilson's never lost 3 in a row, but all good things have to come to an end. And this will probably be the week for that for them, because I think the Niners, even though they have a lot of injuries, they've definitely got some injuries that are going to affect them. But I think that taste that they got in their mouth last week, losing that game to the Packers, that one hurt. That one hurt. But it's only game 4. So it's time to rally. It's time for Shanahan to put together a game plan that can focus on getting that team back on board. They're at home. You've got to win home games. You've got to win home games against division opponents. And I think that he's going to do enough to break that streak for Russell. I think it's going to be tight. I don't see the huge scoring that I heard a minute ago, but I'm more with what AJ's saying. I think this is going to be a Niners win, 27-24.
Yeah, this is in a way a tough one to call, because like you said, much like we talk about great coaches find a way in big games, I think you see the same thing with great quarterbacks. At the same time, this Seattle team has some great players, and then it has some of the worst starters in the league. I know I mentioned this last week, and it came up again last week. I just don't see how they beat the Niners at this point. I just don't think that they're together enough yet. Now, Seattle could be one of those teams that comes together in November, but right now they're not together, man. And the Niners are on the same page, even if QB play, in my opinion, could be better. They're finding a way. And how about Trey Sermon? You healthy, man? If so, let's get you the ball. I like San Francisco winning this ball game, definitely in the 30s, 36-19.
All right, for the next game of the week, we got the Baltimore Ravens at the Denver Broncos. The Broncos are favored by 1, and the line is 45. Personally, my thoughts on the game are the Ravens defense, they got to up its tackling. The tackling during the Lions game was horrendous. Patrick Queen missed a bunch of tackles. I know he's got to fix that. But the bright side is that we do get most of our D linemen back. We got Justin Houston, Justin Madubuike, and Brandon Williams back this week. But going against that Denver secondary, it's going to be really interesting. I really want to see how Villanueva holds up against Von Miller. That's going to be an interesting matchup and something to keep your eye on. But if our offense can start clicking, if Hollywood can start catching the ball, it's going to be a close game, I think. But I have our Ravens pulling it out 24-20.
Last week, we saw that the Ravens are very much human. I believe they should have lost to the Lions. They got really lucky that DeAndre Swift was the only guy not trying to lose that game on his team. That man carried the soul out of the Lions. But here against the Broncos, I think the Ravens, their wide receivers are going to need to step it up. Last week, Sammy Watkins dropped touchdowns. Marquise Brown's dropped touchdowns. Don't call him Hollywood anymore, Rashad. That man is nothing near that spectacular name. Those are 2 horrible drops. And
We used to call him Dollywood last year until he got good.
3 drops, actually, 3 drops.
That's even worse. Oh my God. I'm going to go with Dollywood. But yeah, they need to step up against this Broncos defense. The Broncos defense is showing up good this season, and hopefully Von Miller, he continues to perform well, because this Ravens offensive line doesn't seem to hold up well against those rushers, and I think Villanueva will be a weak spot. I have the Broncos winning this 28-21.
Now, Broncos defense, as we all said, just good, amazing. It's going to be a challenge for Lamar Jackson because at times he makes some really dumb passes, some really dumb, like just no logic. You just see John Harbaugh just on the sideline, just put into his head. So I just feel personally that the Broncos are going to come up with the upset in a close scoring game, 23-21.
First, I want to mention: did the Ravens play last week? They did. They had a game last week because I didn't really hear anything about it. Right? It's all those ifs, Rashad. All those ifs. If this happens, if this happens, if this happens. Right? If the Ravens show up, they win. That's what happens for them, and it's driving me crazy. It's absolutely driving me nuts. Right? Even though you got all these drops, and by the way, you want to trade Hollywood for Jonnu Smith any day, man. He dropped at least 4 passes last week, and I know they're a different position, but still, I don't know what's going on with that. So until the Ravens prove me otherwise, I just can't pick against them. So for this one, I know the Broncos got a good defense, but let's be clear, folks. There's no good defenses in the NFL. It's an offensive league right now, and the quarterbacks just fling it wherever they want to. And you're right, Lamar makes some crazy throws sometimes. I watched some highlights of Kyler Murray today. He is juking guys left and right and then just letting it go because that's the NFL right now. You just slinging it. But that being said, the guy who gets the least attention during the game is going to be the guy that's going to win it for them again. I'm taking JT hitting another record breaker this week up in the altitude. He's going to hit a 70-yarder for a 24-21 victory for the Ravens. Now, I know that's outlandish, but man, if he can kick it from 66 inside the dome, he could kick it from 70 at altitude, man. That guy has just got a leg, and he is clutch. He's no Adam Vinatieri, but he's clutch.
Tell me it grows stronger. Grows stronger every day there, Mr. Wood. That dang leg of that guy, Chase. Last week, wore my number 66 Faneca jersey with my boys that are Ravens fans watching the games, only to witness him kick the 66-yarder. Oh, Villy, can't you see? Your slow feet just hypnotize me. That's what Von Miller was saying at age 3. When he was growing up, knowing he was going to be able to go against Philly, and boy, it's going to be ugly, but it's too bad that Teddy and their offense have no deep threats like Judy, so it's going to be a Ravens victory, 20-13.
This man, Mr. Ellis is hilarious, man. Oh my god. All right, for the next game of the week, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers at Green Bay. The Packers are favored by 6.5 points. The line is 45.5. I don't gotta talk too much on this game. I think I already know what's gonna happen. Packers are just gonna straight blow Pittsburgh out. Like Pittsburgh, come on, man. Like 11-0, not to this, man. Like what happened to the steel curtain defense? Like y'all lost to the Bengals last week. That's embarrassing. But Packers are on a hot streak right now. But I think Aaron Rodgers will get the best of the Steelers. So I have the Green Bay Packers winning 34-17.
If this defense can't contain Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, there's no shot they're containing Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams. This is going to be a joke of a game. I hope Miss Ellis has some songs to sing for the Steelers to make this loss more bearable because it's about to be bad. I have the Packers going up into the 40s. I'm not going to give an exact number because I think they're just going to have a fun game, and the Steelers are just going to be down at 17. But shout out Najee Harris. I like him. I hate playing him in fantasy, but he's a great running back for the future. So at least I have something good going.
Looking at this game, the Steelers are placed at 26th in scoring offense. 26. Okay? Next. Despite making the third most passing attempts in the league, they rank 13 in passing yards per game. It's not bad, but it's not so solid. I think it's going to be a blow through for the Packers. It's going to be a very fun game. Just as On God said, a very fun game for the Packers. But I also have the Steelers scoring 17 points. So I wonder if we're all going to say the Steelers are going to score 17 points. As On God said, I also really like Najee Harris. So I have the Steelers losing this one 17-27.
Well, how the mighty have fallen. You know, much like the Ravens, until they prove me wrong, I'll keep picking them. I have been fooled once and twice by the Steelers. I keep giving it to history and think to myself, they're the Steelers. They're going to find a way. It's Mike Tomlin. He's going to find a way. Ben might as well start throwing left-handed at this point because, as AJ just said, it can't complete any passes. That's not like a shuffle pass or maybe a short dump over the middle. I'm not going to go too long on this one. I'm going to take the Ellis route for what happened, what he gave me for the Patriots. I think that score is going similar here for the Steel Town up at the Pack. 35-13 Pack in this one for sure.
It's the same old song, but a different line falling to the ground. Yeah, boy. Telling you, fellas, week 1 is a distant memory, man. Reflections of the way the D used to be. But we are horrendous on defense, ladies and gentlemen, because what team in the league could have the depth for the guys that we're missing? Well, some teams do, Baltimore. But then again, you guys beat the Lions on a 66-yard field goal. So you're not that great either. At the end of the day, this Pittsburgh team stinks. Let's be real, fellas. We're done. Let's hope that man's going to be QBing Cincinnati Bearcats against Notre Dame will find his way to Pittsburgh someday, and we're going to need some losses to get there, and this will be one of the many. Whew. But what am I going to call here? We're going to break 20 points for the first time all season offensively. We're going to score 3 offensive touchdowns. They're all going to be in garbage time. Ben's going to throw 68 passes for 340 yards and 4 picks, and we lose this ball game 50-21.
If he throws that many passes, his arm's going to fall off, right?
And he will, but I'm going to say this, that the Packers are going to score 50 points. Pittsburgh has not given up 50 points.
Wow.
I don't think ever, right? Or no, excuse me, 1989 against Cleveland, first game we had 50 points. Other than that, this will be the first time we give up 50 points since 1989.
Also, another thing I like to add, since we're all talking about Najee Harris, Pittsburgh actually ranks last in rushing offense, and they've allowed the 6th most passing touchdowns while struggling to get to the quarterback with only 5 sacks through 3 games.
That should be no problem with Aaron Rodgers on board this week. Oh, my.
Grab him by the hair like they used to Palomalo.
Oh boy, Aaron Rodgers is gonna have the time of his life. Anyways,
but he's felt that way before against us. I swear, he's felt that way before against us. Okay, in the Super Bowl, it's the truth, and I owe it all to him. Super Bowl 45 when he beat us, throwing it down the field. Disgusting.
It's crazy. But for the next game of our week, we have the Las Vegas Raiders playing the Los Angeles Chargers on a Monday night game. The Chargers are favored by 3, and the line is 51.5. This is going to be a really good game. This is going to be a really, really good game. The Chargers offense, man, is red hot. Justin Herbert is dealing. Mike Williams had an absolutely great week last week. And, you know, seeing how the Raiders are playing too, I think Derek Carr is playing at an MVP level. He's leading the league in passing yards. And, you know, he's showing that, you know, I'm a legitimate, you know, threat to the AFC West and, you know, possibly the Kansas City Chiefs to win that division. But I don't know. I think after the performance that Chargers put on last week against Kansas City, I got them winning 37-30.
Through the first 3 games this season, I'll say 2 because the Cowboys game was a dud, but this Chargers offense has been charged up. They've been living up to that name. Mike Williams is going crazy. Keenan Allen's doing a good job of just being who he is and playing good football. Justin Herbert is an amazing quarterback. It's crazy to see the leap he's had, and it's amazing to see he didn't go through a sophomore slump. And then the Raiders, talking about them, they've just raided teams. They're somehow still got their way to 3-0. No one expected it. They beat the Ravens Monday night. That was probably one of my favorite games in a while because I love seeing the Ravens lose. And then they went on to beat the Steelers, which was even better for Mr. Ellis. This game is going to be probably game of the week. I feel like both these teams are just surprises, and they've been playing amazing. But I have the Chargers winning this 33-27. Justin Herbert is just playing too well.
Justin Herbert is really turning up. The Chargers offense is very hot. But let's talk about Derek Carr for a second. You know, there's been memes, there's been jokes over the years about Derek Carr. But he leads the NFL in passing yards and has a 6-2 touchdown to interception ratio. This is going to be a really good game. But I have the Chargers taking this one in a high-scoring game, 32-27.
So, guys, my theme for this week, as you can probably tell, is fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, 3 times, shame on me. I've been picking against the Raiders. Somehow the Raiders have gotten below my choice to pick them for some reason. And so I'm not going to get fooled again this week. I won't sing it, Mr. Ellis, but, won't be fooled again. And so I got to think to myself that this is going to be a great game. 2 teams that are on the move up here for sure. SoFi, I'm not even sure what to make of that place anymore when the Chargers are playing it. There may be more LA Raider shirts there than LA Charger shirts. But there's definitely going to be some good quarterback play. Justin Herbert, Derek Carr. We've seen this story before with the Raiders. Derek Carr was MVP type performance a couple of years ago before I think he broke his leg or something. Just before, the Raiders were like, I don't know, I think they were in first place in the West at that point, or maybe just second place behind the Chiefs. Sorry, I don't have my numbers. But ultimately, I think we've seen this story before, and I don't see the Raiders holding on all the way through. But I'm buying what they're selling right now. I'm going to say the Raiders moved to 4-0, 34-30.
I'm with you, Mr. Wood. Meet the new boss, not the same as the old boss in Los Angeles with Staley, who was doing a great job with the Chargers, kind of firing him up a little bit. But how can you doubt this defensive line of Oakland? I mean, how much would the Ravens like to have Yannick now, who was semi-invisible last year when he played for them? But man, out there now with Max Crosby, man, he's kind of like Clyde Simmons used to be to Reggie White. I'm picking up all the accolades as Yannick is. Crosby's the one that's causing the pressure, man. That guy's awesome. I mean, he collapsed our line single-handedly probably 7-8 times in that game. And I think their defense is slightly better than the Chargers, which is going to get them over the top. I mean, you look at Hayward in the secondary there. I mean, that guy's a baller, man. Now, granted, Cam Hayward on the Steelers, pretty big baller too on D this year. But boy, that Cam Hayward for Oakland is a baller. And I think they win this game, and I like them 30-24. I like Herbert, but Carr right now, I mean, that read to Ruggs, that was awesome.
Derek Carr is playing on an unbelievable level. You are Mr. Ellis. But next game for the week, we have Cards versus Rams. The Rams are favored by 4, and the line is 55. High scoring game. D-Hop, Kyler Murray going to be dialing it up. But how about Matthew Stafford, Cooper Kupp, and that entire Rams offense? Like I said about Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford's playing at an MVP level. He found his groove in LA. But, I think the Cardinals will give him a fight. I honestly think that they will. But I still got the Rams winning this 35-28.
I'm not sure if you guys have seen the meme or like the joke of Kyler Murray looks like a toddler running away from an accident when he scrambles. That man just runs around like a toddler, and like his fadeaway throws, they make no sense to me. He's falling backwards and just throws it. And that man goes 40 yards, 50 yards. Hopkins, Christian Kirk, Ronald Moore. Someone's there. It works. They're just dropping points for fun at this point. As I think Mr. Ellis said, this is just an offensive league, or Mr. Woodward said it. Just people are scoring points for fun. And that's what the Rams are doing. They've exceeded 30 points every game of this year. But they're playing the Rams. The Rams are able to stop the high-powered Buccaneers offense. And Matthew Stafford has found a groove in LA. And he finally has a defense that won't hinder him. Like, he can finally play like a normal quarterback and not be hindered by a defense. I have the Rams winning this game 35-28.
Well, like it was said, Matthew Stafford is very comfortable, and I bet you he's very glad to be out of Detroit. I don't know if you guys seen the meme where it's like some of the Lions players are looking at Jared Goff with his helmet off, all sweaty and, being all sad. He's like, and it says, we really traded you for Matthew Stafford. I mean, I'm just saying, if I was a Lions player, I'd just look at you and be like, nah, why would we do that? Who did it? Why would we ever do it? Because imagine you have a player you used to play with, goes to a new team, and then just goes off, starts going crazy. I mean, I'd definitely be pissed, 100%. But looking at this, Kyler Murray is just evasive. His elusiveness is just out of this world. He'll just snap the ball, run around, and do that little fadeaway throw for 40, just like On God said. I don't know if you guys have also seen another meme where it says, you know what, forget it. D hop down the field, open somewhere. I just gotta throw it. So, there's definitely gonna be some moments. I definitely gonna feel there's gonna be a moment where he's gonna just say, you know what, forget it. D hop down there somewhere. He's gonna run around and juke and just dodge everyone. But Cooper Kupp in Los Angeles, they scored the third most points per game, 31.7 points. And so but I still, even though I talked about the Cardinals so much right now, I still have the Rams winning it 27-23.
AJ, if you did play for the Lions, I'd have to ask you, how the heck did you guys blow that game against the Ravens? That's what I would want to know. What's the inside story on that? But since you don't, I don't think, by the way, that's a meme. I think that's an actual photograph from the playbook of the Arizona Cardinals. I think that's a straight up play. I think that's what they draw it up. They're like, trips right, D hop, get open. I think that's pretty much their offense. And it is fun to watch, man. I think you're right. He does look like he's running away from a car crash. He's amazing. And he was undefeated in high school, 53-0, something like that, something crazy. Kyler Murray's stats in high school, and I know we're not in high school, and he hasn't grown since high school, but he has absolutely torn it up at every level, and he's doing it now. That being said, I don't think drawing it up in the dirt is going to beat Sean McVay and the Rams, because that is a good football team. And Matthew Stafford is a real quarterback, and he is the right guy for that spot right now. You can see Sean McVay just staring at him. Just his eyes are hugging him every time he looks at him, because he knows he's not going to make some crazy throw. And Matthew Stafford was a baller when he was at the Lions, man. He was putting up 4,000 yards on that team, winning 1, 2, 3, 4 games. All right, that's enough for me. I'm going to take the Rams in this one, 38-27. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Man, we're going after James Joyce and Charles Dickens with our verbiage here on this particular game, which I would have least thought that to be the case. But at the end of the day, I mean, yeah, you have to take the Rams, but I'm still going to say two things here, okay? Their defense is overrated, right? I think they predicate themselves on getting a lead and they tee off, which good defenses do. But to me, when they got to play yard for yard, yeah, they got one shutdown side of the field. But otherwise, there's room to work. And I think Kyler will find those spaces by moving the pocket. And I think Kingsbury will find a way to keep this close early, but the Rams offense has firepower and the better defense will win this game. Arizona will go down, but this is going to be an under the number. 24-20, Rams win the game. But Stafford, let's see if he can stay healthy. Because as good as he's looked, who has he played? Yeah, Tampa was a tough one and a big win and a great game. But let's see him do it back to back to back to back to back in a tough division. He's never been able to do it, right? Granted, not had the rub, but still never been able to will like Lamar willed to victories. So let's see if he can do it.
He's never even been given the chance on the teams that he's been playing on.
Well, but there have been times. I mean, I watched the Lions and they played us in like Thanksgiving a couple times. Like a couple times I've seen them play in the last 10 years. But when I have, and he's had the big stage, he's thrown the pick. So we'll see what he does when it really matters. Give him credit right now, but it's week 4, man. I'm still not sold on Stafford as a long-term, great quarterback in this league. Let's see it for a whole season. Let's see it in a place he's never been, which is the playoffs.
And that NFC Central, other than the Packers, has never been very good anyway. So they had.
Did you say Central, the North Division?
I mean, the North
Central.
I'm thinking hockey. I'm getting ready for hockey
All
season.
right, Bamman. All right, Charlie Steiner, shout out. Yeah.
All right, and for the last game of the week that we're covering, we got the Browns versus the Vikings. The Browns are favored by 2, and the line is 51.
Do we have to talk about the clowns?
As much as I hate to do it, Mr. Ellis, yeah, I think we have to. So the Vikings are coming off their first win of the season, which I thought they played pretty well in. The offense has just been crazy, man. Kirk Cousins is playing at a really good level, but the Browns, they just got to Justin Fields last week. What was it? Myles Garrett had 4.5 sacks. That man was tearing up that Chicago O-line. But I think this is a much bigger challenge, but it's hard to say because I really don't want to bet against the Browns right now. But I think the Vikings could pull an upset off just the way that their offense has been playing and their defense has just been there right with them. It's gonna be a tough game for Kirk Cousins and that offense to manage, but I have the Vikings winning. I have the Vikings winning 28-24.
Oh my gosh, guys, Kirk Cousins is playing good. 800 yards, 8 touchdowns. Oh, yeah, this is not going to last. I don't care what you guys think. Kirk the Choke Cousins, I believe in that name. I'm surprised he didn't choke against the Seahawks. That deserves a cake. Like I remember he won us a game against Seahawks in Seattle. I still hold on to that because like that's the one good thing that man has done. That man does nothing but choke. I am so surprised he has a 3 game stretch of good performances. And I think this week Miles Garrett is going to get to him and shut down this little hot streak he has, and we're going to see the Kirk Cousins we're used to. And I think Baker Mayfield's going to continue to play well. They got Odell Beckham back and Jarvis Landry. He's going to have his partner in crime. So maybe that duo can turn up. I have the Browns winning this 27-20.
Yeah. All right, Pete. Yeah. You don't want me to take any notes on this game? Well, it doesn't matter because I didn't take any anyway. All right. You can obviously tell that I'm definitely still salty about the Seattle Seahawks game. I just don't want to speak anything on the Vikings. I'm definitely still very salty. But if you look all over Instagram, all over Twitter, all over YouTube, you see Miles Garrett has been playing some nice basketball in the off season. I guess he's taking that little bit of basketball and put it in the NFL. I mean, I don't know if you guys seen. He's doing Euro step pass rushing. Euro step pass rushing like Giannis Antetokounmpo. He takes one step and then pushes off with the other, and then boom. I want the Vikings the Vikings are not gonna win this game. I got the score being 38-10. And if you think I'm salty, I am. Okay, I am.
AJ, tell Pete Carroll I said hi. You know, the big thing about this game right here is I'm with Mr. Ellis. I don't care enough about these guys to consider it. But the one thing that I do find interesting is I think that Kirk Cousins, what was that tagline Kirk Cousins had? You like that? Was that what it was? You like that? Was that what it was? Oh,
The one good thing he gave us.
how is that even good? Do I like what? Do I like you choking? Do I like you taking us to 8-8? Whatever he did, you know, I definitely know he puts up numbers. He definitely puts up numbers, but a lot of quarterbacks put up numbers. I'll take winners any day. And I'm not sure if Baker Mayfield is a winner yet, but he's done some winning with the Browns and he's taken them places. And I know Mr. Ellis doesn't like to hear anything positive about the Clowns, but in this particular one, I got to like what they're doing. I think OBJ was a big addition for them last week. Kareem Hunt running well for them. It's a good football team when they're playing well and they're getting great defense like they are from Miles Garrett. So I think it's going to be tight, but I do think the Browns are going to take this one 27-23.
Let's go crazy. Let's get nuts. Let's have a one playoff win this millennium. Put us in the trust. Wow, that's some great fans in Cleveland. I do give their fans credit, man. I mean, they have a lot of fans that are jerks and obnoxious, but for the most part, they've got great fans. They didn't deserve to lose their team in the first place. So I'll say all those things. But when you got Mike Zimmer going up against his former colleague there in Stefanski, a guy who was the offensive coordinator in the Vikes before, I mean, I'll take the defensive guy over the offensive guy every time in that matchup. I really will, because he saw what the offense did day in and day out. He knows what Stefanski's going to run every play. And this is the game for Zim. And I think it's going to be low scoring. And I look at every position. I'm like, man, the Browns are better at just about every position. But they're not better at quarterback. I'm sorry, Anga. They're not better at quarterback.
Kirk
They're not.
Cousins,
Okay, we can talk about Fakers. You know, I had the ball inside the 30 on every play in the first half because Ben threw 4 picks and Marquise, snapped it into the Monongahela River. But at the end of the day, any other time that Faker's been asked to show up in a game that mattered in the NFL, he hasn't done it. And he's not doing it this week either. I like the Vikes to pull the upset. I don't know how, but I'm just going to say that Zimmer's going to find a way to make Faker lose it. And it won't be the first time it happens this year. It'll be about the 7th time it happens, or 8th. So I like Vikes 23, Clowns 20 somehow.
I'm with you on that, Mr. Ellis. I'm with you on that. Hate the clowns. But anyways, that will do it for our week 4 predictions, guys. Thank you very much for watching. We're looking very forward to seeing you guys week 5. And one note before we leave, Mr. Ellis, the Steelers offense has a total of 925 yards, right? Lamar Jackson has a total of 1,012 yards. So that means our QB has more passing yard or like just more total yards of offense than the Squealers. That's all I gotta say.
Mr. Ellis, you know where and when he got that statistic. Let's put a call into Mr. Smith. We got to work on this here. We got to get him less time on his hands, because that's a number that hurts, man. That's a number that hurts.
Man, I tell you what, man, run on empty, running dry, running in the summer, running behind. That's pretty much number 7. You know, looking at his own behind when he gets knocked to the ground every other play. But look, fellas, it's the NFL, man. You either evolve or you get chewed to bits. And well, a lot of our teams, if I'm looking at this whole board, guys, all of our teams, right? Serious flaws. But so does everybody else. That's the beauty of this, guys, is that it's week 4 and we got 13 to go after this one, fellas. And pledge to be on here with y'all. We got this. I'm not finishing. Come on, fellas. I've never finished. I'm not supposed to finish that.
Oh,
What would Emmanuel, if Emmanuel watched this, God forbid, he's a busy man out there playing, by the way, for Westminster College out there in Western PA out there, you know, getting on the field and getting some action as a freshman. You got to be impressed with our former alumni here on the show, right? But, you know, if I had the last word, never hear the end of it. So somebody better take it other than.
Oh yeah. So thank you guys for. All right,
AJ's hosting next week, so I think this would be good for him to see Rashab. How are you going to finish up, right? The host maybe finishes.
Yeah, for sure. But thank you guys for watching. Week 5 is coming soon. We can't wait to share our thoughts about week 4. You know, it's gonna be a great weekend of football and good Monday night game to end the week off. See you guys later. I've been Rashab. We have Mr. Ellis, Mr. Woodward, On God, and AJ. Peace out.
Enjoy, guys.